Good day, my friends. I hope you're all right and getting your world straightened around. And of course, in a world like we see right now, I think detachment is probably going to be detachment with action. Can you have detachment? Can you live in the now and enjoy the present moment without thought of the next and still participate in creation? Because that's what's, as some of you guys are growing spiritually and you're learning how to get beyond that mind and tame that mind down, that which keeps you from knowing who you really are, that which keeps you locked in creation, that which is eternally always desiring and moving and keeping you away from yourself. So those of you that are working with that, now developing the ability to have action and no action. You'll start to see a lot of these Zen meanings and what they mean. You know, action without action, things like that. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to continue on. I know Chris is putting up the 2 videos. I didn't get a chance to add to those before he got here, so you'll get those up, and then these will come right behind. This one will come, and the next one's this whole week will come. I have all week to be with you guys. So let me go on and read some of these questions because we have so many of them. But let me reiterate, although we asked someone that called in that was very ill, and they didn't seem to, if you have a problem and you're really sick, and you want our help, don't wait till I answer your YouTube question. Get yourself on our website and get in here and let us help you. Don't sit there and suffer until I answer it, because I might not be able to answer it for a week or two. And some of you guys are pretty serious out there, and it just hurts my heart to see all this and how serious some of you have gotten your bodies in. I was talking to a lady about Medicare today, and here she's sick, a family with lymphomas, and you have all these kind of things like this. And a sad state of affairs, and all these things are very curable, not in terms of diseases. Remember this, and don't get out of that trap of diseases. It's a trap. It's trapped a bunch of fine medical doctors in a syndrome that makes them do things, hopefully, normally that soul wouldn't do to others. So if you get out of this concept of diseases and you really look at the human body, you understand chemistry only has 2 sides to it. Understand that one side is the female healing side, the other side is the male aggressive, or in chemistry call it corrosive side. Know that your body's just made of a bunch of cells with 2 major fluids that take care of those cells. One fluid is the blood, which is the nutritive port, which is the smallest fluid, and the gigantic fluid of the gigantic, incredible great lymphatic system. The sewer system, the immune system, the lipid carrier system, and you can probably keep on going. So very misunderstood by medical doctors. Naturopaths a little bit more, but very few understand truly the great lymphatic system and its importance to the human condition, and what most of these symptoms that medical doctors have lumped into some kind of disease scenarios, why you have them, and how you reverse that. You're locked in a treatment-based thinking that has been perpetrated, of course, I don't think totally perpetrated by allopathy. Herbs and the consciousness of taking an herb for a problem has probably existed since the dawn of time. They just picked up off of that consciousness and tried to claim it to themselves, which backfires, of course. You can't do that. And then in doing that, created, of course, the pharmaceuticals, and now you've got deaths that are just unacceptable level of deaths from the use of these. For what reason? Because there's no curative value of diseases or treating diseases. Nothing is cured allopathically. Now, let's take surgery and emergency medicine away from allopathy and set it to the side and say that's truly allopathy. Surgery and emergency medicine is truly allopathy. although emergency medicine can use a lot of naturopathic understanding. Outside of that realm, you should have nothing but naturopaths, homeopaths, things like that, because general practitioners are not allopathic thinkers. That's the major problem that we're facing. So just understand what causes all your problems, what causes inflammation. Understand proteins aren't what you thought they were. Dairy products are not what you thought they were. Most of the foods that most people eat are their problems. And when you look at those foods, we were having a discussion this morning on how hybrid wheat was. You know, wheat originally was a large plant. And then, of course, hybrid down and became very toxic. So this is the sort of thing that we're promoted to eat. All the foods that make us sick, they're promoting you to eat. Funny how that is. And it's really almost an unconscious thing. This comes right out of the mind, right out of areas that's hard to explain to you. But there's a lot to these to this whole thing. And it's not just in the physical world that this problem exists. It exists in the emotional world and in the mind worlds, we'll call them, where things originate. You know, the mind is the originator of creation. Okay. Now, this is for YouTube, I was told, so I guess I can mention names, huh? I have my 2 adult kids now on vegan diet. I am proud of them, but have a major concern regarding their babies. We don't want to hurt our babies because of our lifestyle. Okay? Babies have different needs to develop their organs in the first 4 years. Like what? Could you explain to me like what? You have growth of the skeletal system. You have growth of the nervous system. You have comprehension level growth. You have all that sort of thing. But these are Homo sapiens. And how you make an adult Homo sapien healthy is how you make a baby Homo sapien healthy. The only difference is, if the mother's been raw long enough and she's healthy enough to support that baby's nutritive needs through her milk, and she's a raw foodist, you can't go no further. Excuse me, please. Go no further than the primates. And the chemistry of a primate milk. And let's go to the orangutans, which are exclusively frugivores, which most of them are. However, due to restraints in environmental areas, some of them have to be omnivores. We've talked about this a great deal. If you think for 1 minute that you can use a high fruit and berry melon diet, no more, let's not that we're treating these and not that we're using them, but let's just use the concepts they talk. Those people diagnosed with cancers, those people diagnosed with MS, all these conditions, these serious chronic and degenerative conditions, which is nothing more than the body's lymph system breaking back on the cells and burning them up. If you can get someone well, you can take an MS case, brain lesions, totally get them out of chairs and walking, and you've seen that, and do these things with the fruits, and you think your baby needs something above that? Doesn't exist. Nothing exists above the chemistry of ripe berries and fruits. You got your vegetables, much more herbivore food, and for herbivores, most babies would have a hard time digesting vegetables, in my opinion. So I don't consider green drinks as a move toward babies. Fruits and berries, very much so. But at a certain point, remember, I thought for years that babies should be weaned at 3 years old. Medical doctors claim 2, and now that I've worked with babies all my life, 1 would be even better. Because the problem with the adults right now is most adults that have babies are very toxic. The mothers, their lymph systems are backed up. all their organs and glands are down. That's what you have to be concerned about, is the genetics of the child. And that is no more than looking at yourself and your husband and your grandma and grandma on both sides. And just figure your babies are worse by 10, 20 years. So you're going to see the same problems in your babies 10 to 20 years quicker than you're seeing them. Why wouldn't they? You have to understand how genetics is, that every cell in your body is a genetic cell. So you're asking me that you don't want to hurt your baby on your lifestyles, yet you have the highest nutritional and energetic lifestyles out there. You see what I'm saying? You can't let your mind and your build you with fear that somehow you're doing the best lifestyle out there, but your babies need something better. There isn't any better than raw foods. And of the raw foods, which is all animals eat, which do you think is better? Dead tissue? I don't think so. We can argue that. Easy to win that argument. We don't even have anything that shows that we can deal with animal products in our body at all. All right, so beans. You got a dead food. You got to sprout them and make a vegetable out of them before you can eat them, and not get the gas from all the sulfur and all that, and all the enzyme inhibitors and all that. So grains. What's a grain? Is a diet of polysaccharide, meaning too much sugar. It's a starch. That's not healthy. Where else are we going here with food that would be better for your children? Milk? What kind of milk? The only milk that your baby could tolerate other than a healthy mother's Homo sapien milk would be a primate milk. Because when you leave that realm and you go into the intensity of the protein and lipid content of a cow's milk, you're doing your baby one of the greatest injustices you could ever do them. And especially pasteurized. You will fill your babies full of mucus, colicky problems, and suddenly you can have a lot of problems in today's world with your babies because their kidneys are down, their adrenals are down, and you're going to have a lot of St. Jude stuff. And if you like to see those pretty pictures in St. Jude, then feed your babies cow's milk. Because that's just what's going to happen. So I don't see the question that you're asking me here. I don't see that. Now, I'm not reading on here. But for all of you that's even thinking that as parents, I have a grandson, and you don't think I'm going to raise my grandkids healthy if my son and his wife goes for it. Of course I am. So it's a big deal. And I'm going to tell you, the fruits and the berries and the melons, especially the fruits and the berries, are the highest nutritive foods on the planet. How could you feed your babies better? More lipids? More protein? You know, how do you get a baby primate to be a large primate on just fruit? Because that's about the sole diet of most primates, fruits, berries. They might have some tender greens that can't find any fruits or something, obviously. Mountain gorillas, you push them up in the mountains, you're going to grab whatever sweetest stuff you can. Nobody messes with these animals. And for those that have been fruitarian, have got their bodies cleaned and their genetics rebuilt, you can't catch them. I can't remember whether it was Stanford. I was thinking it was Stanford. It was one of the universities. Years and years ago, I think in the 70s, wanted to look at the different diets. And they get a cross-section. And I've talked about this on video before. They took a cross-section of athletes and vegetarians, lacto-vegetarians, raw foodists, the natural hygienic people, a fruitarian they had in there. And they had 44 athletic modules from deep knee bends to chin-ups to pull-ups. And in every case, the fruitarian extremely outdid the others. I mean, by a landslide. Shocking. Shocking. So I don't know where you can feed your babies more. And more is not better. One of your problems you're facing, you mamas and you dads, is the genetics of liver, gallbladder, that's lipid digestion, pancreatic weaknesses abound in children. So these formulas are making them throw up a lot. So then they have the Neaton, whatever procedure where they tie the stomach around the esophagus. I get babies like this that's near death, put them on fruit. And I have cards from the mothers going, my baby never looked so good. My baby never did so good. I just have to tell you, don't walk with fear with your babies. Never walk with fear. Walk them with health. What's healthy to a Homo sapien? Baby, adult, senior. Doesn't matter. Babies have different needs, okay? My son has a 20-month-old baby, and my daughter is still breastfeeding. How can we protect the babies while on a vegan diet? How do you protect them? I don't understand what you're saying. If the mother that's breastfeeding is eating high proteins and she's drinking dairy products and cheeses and ice creams and stuff, that's what you want to fear. That's what you should be fearing. Because that will only blow back on the baby. Fill the baby full of mucus, and now you got to deal with colds and flus, mumps and measles, tonsillitis, all the childhood lymphatic problems that we see in our society. And we blame God for that. Microbes, bacterium, virus. Nobody's blaming what you're putting in the body. So you have to understand, my dear ones, you're unjustly scared. And you don't need to be scared. If you're scared of anything, be scared of how babies are being fed right now and why St. Jude has a long line. They never brought in so much money in their lives. And that's from people eating typical things. How do you protect them? How do you protect your baby from that? Vegan diets, raw food diets. How is any other diet other than a raw food diet healthy? It ain't. You can't prove by processing and cooking or pasteurizing a food that you make it better. How could you ever begin to think that? You destroy it, both chemically and physics, magnetically, electrically. And that's better? That's ridiculous. People have to understand there's nothing better than the food nature makes for you. If we hybrided it down, we can argue poor quality. Absolutely. That's why trees is a lot better giving of food than vegetables would be in a hybrid situation. And you can see why. So, don't for a minute. You're making your worlds better, and you bring your babies with you. We have thousands of babies on raw foods. That's how you protect them. You want to protect your babies? You fix their genetic weaknesses before it's too late. You make sure their kidneys are filtering. You can work on them early on. Because we have infants on these herbs. Very sick, serious infants. I'm coming from a position of working on babies for 40-some years. So I know quite well. You can get the coconut milks and the coconut waters. Incredible. Plenty of lipids. You don't want high-protein diets for Homo sapiens. You're not good. Not good. Protein in itself, not good. You want plenty of adequate amino acids. You get plenty here. If you listen to our society, who's so sick from believing its own concept and ideas, then you bought into the wrong picture. Our society is sick because it believes what it's telling itself. And it's telling itself these conditioned thoughts from propaganda, from the Dairymen's Association, the Cattlemen's Association, that years and years ago, they brainwashed people to think that drinking milk was a good thing. Is it really? Especially at a totally different species that gets quite large? No way. This is why we are facing all our lymphatic problems, guys. Don't think for a minute. What's good for you is good for your babies. And what's bad for you is also bad for your babies. And when you add the coconut milk, you got plenty of the lipids. Too many lipids, you got a serious problem. Chemistry comes in nature as your blood is. Everything is harmonious And when man starts monkeying with the foods or cooking or destroying it, now we've lost harmony with the blood chemistry, and now we've got agglomeration, we've got an anionic environments where we've coagulated the minerals from cooking and processing. We destroyed anything water soluble, which would be your flavonoids and your water soluble complexes like your Bs. So how would anybody ever think that cooked foods would be better for babies? Or anything that smacks of that. Formulas or anything like that. This is all crap. We have to take babies off of mothers so early nowadays because they're so sick. Some of them can't even handle their mom's milk. And we have to get them on coconut milks and waters and fruits. And yet now the FDA wants to pasteurize coconut waters and stuff. Let's just destroy the food. These guys are criminals. Let's just destroy the food before these humans eat it. And then they'll die off and we'll get this world the way we want it with only a few of us elitists. Look at the World Bank and the World Health Organization and their agenda, guys. I'm not just... Hey, Jen?
Yeah.
Here's all the stuff from the 2 videos for Chris. He's putting them up, right?
Yes.
Well, here's the paperwork on it all right here on my desk.
Want me to come get it?
Would you? Thanks, honey.
Okay, you're right there.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I want to get these videos up. My son is 21-month-old baby, and my daughter is still breastfeeding. Okay, how can we? This.
Thank you.
This goes.
Okay, and that separates them.
Yeah, this is where we have the breakdown of them.
Okay.
But I want them up.
Oh yeah, he's loading them. I just don't know if they're time stamped.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, he's probably not going to go through that whole rigmarole with that, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll find out. But yeah, he is uploading
There's some
them.
serious cases in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's
All
why.
right. Thanks.
Thanks, honey.
Yep.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, how can we make sure they get enough protein, high fat, calcium, vitamins, B12, iron, and so on and so on and so on and so on? Shh, shh. Yeah, fix the genetic weaknesses. Half of this is the adrenal glands. Your B12, your iron, fix their adrenal, your calcium, fix the parathyroid. In other words, you have to make sure your baby's thyroid, parathyroid, how can you tell this is off in a baby? You want to look at yourself and you want to look at your husband and your mom and dad and look at your genetics and just about figure, because you can't give your baby anyone else's genetics. So you want all this, you want to go to the raw. You go high fat, you get your baby in trouble. You go high protein, you'll get your baby in trouble. We get in trouble with those. You don't give your baby high fat and high protein diet. Look at all these formulas. That's just what they are. High fat and high protein. And they're the crappiest things on the market. But again, go visit St. Jude's. Go visit all these slaughterhouses that are giving all these babies chemo. And ask yourself, what kind of diet were these babies raised on? High protein, high fat. You're asking me, how can we raise our babies on our society's thinking, and yet we're all vegans because we know better? I don't get that. Sorry, not being mean here, but I don't get that. Your question is almost an oxymoron, sweetheart, because you're in the same race. The big deal here is the genetic weaknesses. Remember, the metabolism of iron and cobalt and all the cofactors for B12 come out of the adrenal glands. How about calcium? Everything has calcium in it. Everything. White flour has calcium in it. But can the baby utilize it? The question is, can you or your husband utilize it? Parathyroids. I know about almond milk and coconut milk, but is it enough? Raw, not pasteurized. It's more than enough. Almost almond milk can be too much protein. Got to be careful. When your baby starts to get mucousy, colicky, pull away. You're too concentrated of a food. Baby can't handle it. The article above shows serious matter of deficiencies in malnutrition with babies eating vegan only. Well, screw that article. I've never seen it. I've personally never seen any deficiencies in stuff. What I've seen is a hospitals full of babies now following the dietary habits that our society recommends. That's what I see. I don't see any of our babies in hospitals with deficiencies. Never seen that. So you have to look a little deeper at these baby genetics and all the other stuff. Not eating raw foods and stuff like that. Sorry, that's a total misconcept. Some of this shit is written by assholes, pardon my French, but you have to forgive me because this gets unnerving after a while. After 40-some years of hearing this crap, and our society think, oh, and comes out with articles like this, or that one guy on the article that detox doesn't exist. These elitists who think they know everything are the ones who got us all in trouble. Your babies don't get deficient on raw foods because there is no deficiency to raw foods. And if you're juicing them, you're compacting that nutrition. If you worry about anything, you worry about the genetic weaknesses and giving them society's thinking. Milks, proteins, things like this. That's where babies are getting sick, not on raw foods. Now they're getting better, so I don't care what articles say. Like, I don't buy into that because I've had too many years working with babies. Why do I buy into somebody that has an agenda to smash the raw food people and smash it? They don't understand it's bringing their own world down when they go after us. It's bringing their own worlds down. Because they're trying to stamp out any option that humans would have to get well. But that's the negative forces. And that's just what right now the negative forces want. They want you. And any way they can get you, they will. I'm just saying, be awake and be aware, because today isn't the time to be ignorant and unaware. And buying into articles and crap like this, you got to research and understand that. We've had so many babies on the coconut milks and the raw foods. It's amazing to see. I don't like to go back to dead food, but our babies are an important issue here. Did you see what you just said? I don't want to go back to dead food, but if dead food makes our babies healthier, then we're going to go back to it. Don't walk, sweetheart, with fear. Walk with knowingness. Because you know raw. This is common sense. Do not walk with fear. If you walk with fear, they'll chew you and your baby right up. And it's whatever you want, though. Run your babies how you want them. But I can tell you, if you want a superior baby, you raise them on raw. And you raise them as high as you can on the fruits and the berries and the coconut stuff. And my grandson's exclusively there. You can't believe this kid. I'll bring him to show you sometime what a 3-year-old raw foodist looks like. He just had his 3-year-old birthday. They had it in a pizza place with all the fun stuff, you know. My grandson said, I want no pizza. I want fruit. So we have all the pictures of him eating his big bowl of fruit while all his friends are eating the pizza. And guess who has the most endurance? Who doesn't have fat on him? Who has muscles on him? Who is a little gorilla? Yeah, that's right. So I wouldn't do anything to my kids and grandkids that I would have anyone else do, honey. There's no way. But everybody's buying in to a society that's full of crap. A society that's done nothing but feed us lies and bull crap. And now we have to deal with all the problems we have to deal with, the seriousness of what we have to deal with. You know, if you worry about that, I'll trip you to a mother you might want to talk to. You worry about this a little more, you get a hold of Jen B, and I'll give you a name of a lady, and let me show you what, matter of fact, we'll show you another lady, friend of hers, that her baby was born with MD, serious, nothing. And I thought, oh, this child is gone. I've been working on it for a few months, and I just can't turn this baby around. It's just so advanced, and it's just nothing. Right? I thought, and she brought him down, and I looked at him, I said, oh my God, I think this baby's going to pass. I kept hitting this baby and going after this baby. Turned totally around. Now this baby is coming out of this, totally alert. So if you want to talk to these type of parents, and we did it on fruits and berries and melons only with herbs. So I just have to tell you, the babies we've turned around from extremely serious problems, and you want to move away from that into a dead society that's filling in our hospitals with babies now because parents bought into their thinking. Don't live with fear, and stand up tall for what you know to be true, because you know it for yourself, because you changed. Don't think there's something different for your baby. Don't buy into that crap, because they'd like nothing more than to own your baby. Most of them do anyway. I realize that I can't get a straight answer from the doc on Facebook. Yeah, I don't deal with the Facebook site. This is all I can deal with. I'm super busy. But there's a raw food pediatrician down in Miami. I wish I'd have got his name. He was on a court show. And a raw food pediatrician in Miami, you can look him up. Talk to him. Why would he be a raw food pediatrician? And in court, the prosecutor was trying to show that raw foods were bad for this baby. And this raw food pediatrician laughed at him. I said, "You're joking, right?" And proceeded to tell him just what it is. You can't argue. You can't argue because you can't prove that cooking your food improves it. You can't prove that. But you can prove chemically what it does to it and magnetically what it does to it. You can't prove that. And that isn't making it better by any stretch of the imagination. You're saying pretty much that man knows more than God about the health of babies. In nature, you'd be eating nothing but fruits and berries, and your baby would be drinking your milk. So take it from there. But thanks for the question. The only reason I'm hard on you is because you got to wake up out of this. Because that question, you see where you're off with that thinking? So you just don't fall with fear, because parents that do that end up having serious trouble with their babies. And I'm into saving the babies. They're the future here. Maybe. All right. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, so I might have to stop here in a minute. Dadgummit. I'm still kicking detox, guys. Just like you guys. We're all doing it. This is Martin. Hey, Martin. Hi, I'm a very, very sick pastor. Oh, God. I have been told I already read you yesterday. And I have you on a video you're going to get before this one. You need to get in here and let me straighten you totally around, God, man. This is Alan. It's a pleasure to write you this letter. It's a pleasure to have you write it, Alan. I love you, and I love you, everything you guys are doing. Sometimes it might sound like I get a little hard on you, but there's a reason. There's not a lot of time left, and you've got to act, and you've got to be aware. You've got to get out of the mind and be more aware of some of the things you're thinking. Okay, this is a good example about how I need to treat my babies different because they're something special. So you would give them something worse than what you're on. No. But if you think about it, you changed because you knew it was better for you. It's better for your baby. Always better. The only problem you parents face with your babies, and I'm all serious about this and extremely so, is your baby's genetic weaknesses, and they're weaker than yours. So those that have bad kidneys and adrenals and all that, look what you're bringing into the world. Worse. So that's what you've got to fix. And don't worry about putting your baby on herbs. That's another thing that some people worry about. But how many babies do we have on herbs? So if you need to talk to some parents about what happened to their babies when they weren't raw and when they were raw, a lot of them out there talk to you. And one mother in particular would be more than happy to tell you her story. She made us all cry at one of our classes. One of the horrible stories I ever heard. All right. So, I love seeing. Thanks, Alan, for your love here, man. Yeah, he's got two questions. One, I have noticed a fair amount of people ask you about different diets by different blood groups. I agree with you in what you said. Blood types deals with antigens and immunity. It doesn't mean our diets have to differ by that. My question is, if the lymphatic system is our main immune system, and it makes perfect sense, and it's obvious why that is, and that would be. I mean, this is a smart guy, and I really like that because when you think about it, you can't excuse me, hear that mucus? Bad. You can't overburden your blood. You can't expect your blood to maintain its viscosity and pH by dumping high proteins and lipids and everything else in it. Those of you that understand that blood pH variances can mean a quick death within minutes, then would understand that. That you have to be, we're lackadaisical. Even those people like the American Dietetics Association, they don't understand chemistry. So when you're saying that when you dump a piece of dead tissue into your blood, what that does to your blood, when you have a high protein diet, what that does to your blood, or a high lipid diet, what that does to you, and it affects us adults like it does the babies. And we're not faring any better. And it's bad. So one has to look at that. And it becomes obvious why the lymph system has to deal with the lipid transport, has to deal with acids, why it's a lipid system, because acids are so aggressive, especially when you're down around 3 pH. You see what I'm saying? When you look at steroid production, you got estrogen, but you got its counter, its neutralizer, progesterone. So we know that estrogen is acidic. We know progesterone is base. And you see that with all the other steroids. You have buffers always when it comes to hormones and steroids. So translate that out then into the world of chemistry, and that, acids require bases to neutralize them. However, when acids outweigh the bases, you just simply burn your bases, which is mostly your electrolytes. So then you enter a dehydrated state. And in a dehydrated state, then you get agglomeration, an anionic environment, coagulation. Everything begins to stick, dry up. Your eyes dry, your mouth dries, your skin dries, everything starts drying out. And then the pain comes. And then the tumors form. And this is all from obstruction of that one simple system. I don't know how simple it is, but certainly an incredible system. But simple to understand. And it's simple to understand that when cells are damaged, it doesn't go into the blood system. Again, compromising pH and the need of that cell to be terminated. So it only understandably makes sense that cells are taken to the lymph nodes. When you understand that the macrophages are in the lymph nodes, those terminators, if you will, then it starts to make more sense. And then the bacterium for the acids, and starts to make sense then why that system is so great, and more about it. So good stuff. How exactly do the antigens coagulate with immunity? I'll tell you, good question. I think basically they're like virals, where you have to have, they're like a cop on a corner. You got weak cells, and I would sense vibrational frequency shifts would then trigger consciousness of an immune cell to grab a cell. So I just think that, let me see what else I wanted to say on that. Like a viral, unless you had an adhesion, a virus, you can have viral loads way up there and not have problem one. But I think when you have the adhesions, when you lower the frequency of cells, and that creates the adhesions, I think this is why you get the blowback, immediately a signal. Because there's all these signals out there, and I think that's simply what a virus is, a protein. But, I'm not deeply educated into the depth, advanced A&P and stuff. I would love that. But I've only had basic stuff and then everything else self-taught. I've had several classes of A&P, and I've been self-taught after that because they don't answer your questions, but basic stuff, how the body's made, the muscles, big deal, yeah, okay. But deeper questions that we would ask as physicians about detox and chemistry and physics and the effect upon the blood and how the immune works and, that sort of thing. So I haven't had a lot of that, I have to admit. But does someone with fever antigens have higher immunity in that way? As far as, is an O negative individual more favorized antigen and immunity-wise, then say, I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I don't, but then I don't know what to say about that. I mean, of all these years and all the people that I've worked with, that has never entered my mind as a consideration whatsoever, because it's something that you can't deal with. You can only deal with the person in living time, no matter what their blood type is, and no matter what the medical doctors have diagnosed them with. You know that this is a human body that simply works like a machine. It's a very chemicalized body that basically is made of roughly 100 trillion cells, somewhere around that. I'm not sure they even know anymore. It keeps changing. So you have to simple transport of fluids, the transport of nutrients, and the elimination of waste. I think the simplicity of all that. The virals, antigens, those things that are involved in the processes of how you deal with cells that have been damaged and how the body deals with all of that. You know, you have different immune cells that do different jobs, and you learn about those, and okay. But I'm not sure totally how to answer you with that one, because I've detoxed every level and rebuilt every level of blood type there is, and did them all the same. And I've never had problems getting people to Wellville. I have had a couple, there's no question. I mean, let's put it in proper context. I have cases that I couldn't help. I tried everything under the sun, tried my damnedest, and it was just time to go. And that's what I say. You do everything right, and it's a matter of time. You do everything right, and it's simply a matter of time till your body gets itself straightened around and rebuilt. Or, it's your time. And if it's your time to leave the planet, I got one word for you. Rejoice. Especially if you have to come back. Rejoice. And I've never seen, good questions though, but I've just never seen a problem with different blood types, different antigens, because you see that when you have thyroid problems and you see like Hashimoto's and you see all the antigens and stuff, and medical doctors are freaking out. I'm going, it's just acidosis and different proteins. You know, and the proteins are the bad boys. You know, everybody thinks they're the good boys, and they're actually, if you read research papers, like the glymphatic system, you realize that proteins are oftentimes the bad boys, not the good boys. So it's just funny how things are turned around. That's why you have to almost go back to simplicity at the level that keeps everything simple in your life, because mentally it's just impossible. And with our limited mental abilities, and how we wasted time with that, with allopathic thinking, I don't know what to say. We've reached abutment to where we have to come back a little bit and simplify. That's why you see a lot of people going back to their old flip cell phones. More and more people are craving, all right, I've seen where the mind can take us. Let's back up a little bit and gain spirituality and some fun and some happiness, and get rid of those toys that doesn't work or that is too toxic for us on the planet. Let's go back and redo things and make it real nice for everybody. We've learned now what hurts us all, and we need to change that. But I'm not sure this planet is ready for that level of thinking. I know there's others that would like to see that change too. From your knowledge, if we put two subjects with the same lymphatic condition on all fruit, an O negative and an O positive, is the O negative? Then that's my question. No, I've not seen that. Now, you could do some research on that. You could line yourself up, some clients with about the same issues, with different types of blood. But through the years, I've hit about everything like that. And I've never witnessed whether one takes longer over another or anything like that. I only see that in relationship to kidney weakness, adrenal weakness, and how bad the lymph system is. Those are the only ways that I've seen any differences in terms of time and that sort of thing. The advanced cases that we couldn't say, that you're just, they're emaciated, they're so dehydrated, their kidneys have failed so long, It's just hard to get a body into a hydrated, filtering, base balanced state from highly advanced acid states. And if there's anything that we could put out to the world is, be careful how you walk with high protein and high lipid diets, because we're all dying from extreme acidosis, and it's not good out there. So it's forcing man to go back to simplicity. It's forcing man to take a look at the natural side and realize that we just follow the laws of nature. You can call us natural, but a lot of us are God people. But is that a bad thing? That means we're more aware, is what that means. And that we know what things are in some ways. You might not intellectually know all the little things like the antigens and all that. But some of those pathways are not necessary to be involved in. Might be cool, my intellectual side would like to know more. But I don't see that in a practical side and in a clinical setting or a club setting where you're working on your clients and getting them healthy. I've never seen anyone have a difference with different blood types of that way. And we see all types of blood types in here, you know. I find this hasn't been cleared up, and I think it would be nice to, yeah, thanks for the question. Absolutely. Because, again, I've just never seen any differences in terms of getting people well with that whatsoever. And your immunity really is nothing more than your ability to move out toxins when you ingest them, if you think about it. So, and what system deals with that? Yeah, the lymph system. So this is the problem. A lot of the chemistry from the underarm deodorants and all this kind of stuff still in us. I was using some chlorophyll underarm deodorant at one time. Just to smell good, I thought, you know. And it sucked right into my lymph system. You could see chlorophyll stains all over. So that's when I said, well, why do you need this anyway? No, I don't know. This is more of a spiritual question. Now, I like those. Needless to say, health is very simplistic and pretty easy to learn. I thank God for giving me the luck to have come across your... Oh, thank you, my friend. Good man. I have been awakened very much by your vids, especially on health and spirituality. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, man. Well, you know, I think we're all here just to help each other grow. And when you have information, it's helpful. I want to hear about it. I enjoy your questions. Didn't mean to be a little hard on the baby thing, but we've got to realize, got to come out of this. They know more, because they don't. Spiritually, however, what we need more of, and in some cases in large doses, boy, do I agree with you. Personally, I would very much like to visit the astral world, to view my Akashic records. Akashic records are in the causal world. But you have a lot of astral museums, A-S-T-R-A-L, astral. And you'll see a lot of, you can go to museums, I'm sure, for sure Tesla was an out-of-bodyer, had to be. And then, of course, you hear the story about Edison always taking his little meditation naps and stuff like that. And so your guide can take you, or you can learn where these museums are, what this earth is, how this physical world is going to change, and the different things that people invent on them. And you can see that in some of these museums, but the Akashic records or something else. You know, I mean, it's almost frightening. You know, sometimes to look at your journey, sometimes some things are frightening out there in creation, in my opinion. I'm a loving kind of man. I don't like negative brutality and everything like that. And there's plenty of it at this level in creation, not just this planet. Personally, I would very much like to visit the astral. Okay, could you give us a small guide as to how to do this? Also, will the trip be fully conscious? When we come back, do we remember what we have seen? I really want to know what I have done in my past, and only if it's possible to remember it while I'm here on Earth. No, because each level, you're more aware than the level. I won't say below it because everything is kind of immersed, but figuratively speaking, we'll say below it. Because in one sense of the word, you could use that. Each level, you're more aware than the next. when you start getting more finite bodies, it starts limiting your perception of yourself because you have to be able to fit your consciousness into these small cracks, basically. So yeah, it's tough. Astrally, if you learn how to have out-of-body experiences, I think your spiritual guide will be happy to take you there, and just the fact that you're asking will bring us to you. So that's what you want to image, your spiritual guide, one of the Ek Masters, or whoever that can help, and we'll be there. But you can play with this. There's so many techniques. And you can make them up yourself. The thing about a technique to get out of your body is you put your awareness somewhere else while you let your body rest. Because you're only occupying this as a vehicle to look through. You don't live here. You as an infinite being can't be in the physical world. The only way you can be here is through your physical body. So when you pull back, that's what meditation is to pull back and let go of your bodies. Then you start freeing. You start feeling greater, bigger, more happier, more full of joy, love, ecstasy. I can't even begin to tell you. And it's just more and more and more because you're letting go of looking through these windows called bodies. You have to understand the same thing's true with God. It, in its infiniteness, can't be in the finite world except through its creation. That's why you have to accept your divinity. Because the only way God can be here is to create you, which is it, in individualized form. It's the only way you can be here. This world is way too crushing. You can only have a body. That's why you have a body. Because soul of itself, if we use that as an identification of the infinite part of yourself, even though it has finite connotations, just can't be here without bodies. Same thing, astral world. Can't be in the astral world without an astral body. Same thing with the mental bodies, too. But once you realize that, and you start looking at this and how it works, and you start shifting yourself from emotions to the mind, play with that, you'll see that you can shift yourself. But you just find a place you really love and you relax wherever you are, in bed, in a chair, you just relax, let go. Just totally let go. Spend some time relaxing techniques, relaxing your legs, relaxing your butt, relaxing your back, relaxing your mind, stop thinking. Relaxing yourselves. And then vision yourself somewhere else. Use your, what they call imagination. Use you as the viewer. You view somewhere else. And you put yourself totally there. You smell the aromas. You can put yourself anywhere you like. Up in the mountains, you can smell the pine trees. The more you sense there, you'll hear a pop and out you go. But you must learn how to relax without thinking to relax. Because sometimes when you try to relax enough to shift your attention to something else, you're thinking about relaxing. Just let go. You can start with picturing yourself from the ceiling in your bedroom or wherever you're laying down or sitting, looking down at yourself. And you just totally relax, and you put yourself up here looking down at yourself. And just let yourself relax and keep looking down. Or find yourself a beach, or find yourself some beautiful place you love, and go there without your physical body. Your mind will take you there first. But you have to use these other bodies to travel around in. But, you're a good dude. These are good questions. Real good questions. Sorry I can't get more into the antigens and that sort of thing, but I don't even worry about it. People come to me all the time, and all their different things are up in that respect, and they don't bother me. I just detox them out, rebuild, clean, and you're good to go. It's that simple sometimes. There's a lot of people that have a lot to get out, though. There's some of you guys that have some chronic lymph. Don't get upset if it takes a while. I have this little girl that has so many seizures. And I feel for the parents because after At 4 months old, here's another thing, you moms. Don't do the vaccinations. If you sat in my shoes and you saw the seriousness of side effects of some vaccines, you would cry in horror. This one poor girl, she's 26, 27 years old now. She's been having 50 seizures a month, some a week, since she was 4 months old. 4 months old. Some medical doctor thought she should have a vaccination. So they gave her a vaccine. Now this will help you. Really, really. All her life, seizures. Imagine her parents having to deal with her. So I don't hear that crap from them. Makes me sick. They don't have to deal with them. They just let them go out of their mind. They don't care. They're working on philosophies and idealisms, not realisms. But her lymph system, I can't even explain to the parents how bad this girl's lymph system is, so it's taken me so long to get her. But that's why she went into it. Her lymph system looks like a dairy farmer, and she was 4 months old. I mean, I see her at 26, what her eyes look like, but it's like a nightmare. And I'm trying to explain to her how bad this is and how long it's going to take. It's just hard to describe. We have messes on our hands. So all our efforts are essential. All you moms, these are good questions. And it's a good question that you ask for your babies. But don't be fooled, guys. Don't be fooled by the elitists and those that want you to think that it's okay for you to be good, but your baby needs something special. That's stupid. Go into nature and look at how nature takes care of the babies. But look what the parents are eating in nature. But which species are you going to go to if you're going to look at that? There's only one species that matches the Homo sapien, and you know what it is. You don't go to horses and cows and elephants and go, look, my baby needs to eat that. You don't go to dogs, hogs, bears, and chickens, which are omnivores. You don't go to them and say, that's what my baby needs to eat. Because my baby doesn't look like either one of those groups. Of course, carnivores are so far away, there's not even an argument there. You're stuck with frugivores, sorry. But, with that said, we're coming out of generations of omnivores eating and very sick, sick people. So it's time we have to get our babies well. So how do you explain that you get your babies well through coconut waters and milks and fruits and berries, but then on a long-term diet they shouldn't be eating? Make sense? Didn't think so. Hey, you're a good man, bro. Alan, love you, baby. You keep it up. A lot of spiritual exercises out there. Create your own. But just know what you're trying to do. You're trying to let go of your attention to your bodies, particularly the one you're keenly aware of in the present moment. Once you get realizing the subtleness of the astral or the emotions, that's your emotional body. And then thought. Thought and the thought processes. Well, wait a minute, we can go back behind that. Can you go back behind thinking? Of course you can. Pure awareness, pure consciousness. That which drives the mind, the emotions, and the physical body. You're the driver. It's just you don't realize you're driving several cars at the same time, all linked together, all tied together, all tied through the endocrine glands. Interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting. It's why you see mood changes, which is not a physical experience. You see it when your physical adrenal glands are down because of the neurological connection that presents to the brain. And how those adrenals are hooked into the astral body, the emotions. Yep. It's amazing when you look at it all. It gets fun. I've laid you out some good maps. And you just have fun. Just like these questions Alan's asking, you just have fun with them. Oh, this is Kayla. Hi, Kayla. First off, I'd like to thank you for all you do. Thanks, Kayla. I love you, honey. Thanks. You know, I'm trying to keep up with you guys. You're a good bunch of people, though. Don't let anything stop you from being healthy and getting healthy and keeping life simple and having fun and getting your joys back. And You know, you're gonna become aware of some bad things, guys. You're going to become aware of what's been going on here on this world and what's been happening on this planet. There's some bad things going on. And it's just the way this is set up, though. And they're bad at one level, but essential. And it's just how it trains itself and how it expands itself. And you'll see why as you grow spiritually. But from one perspective, be very careful. Protect yourself at all times. By your foods, by your mind, controlling the mind and not others, and your emotions. This is just how they control people. You don't think our governments control you just physically, do you? They've learned mind control, emotional control, and that's 50 years ago. So these governments are way beyond what you think they are in how to control people. Back in the military, back in the 70s, we were using mind control and stuff. My question is in regards to amalgam, silver fillings, and mercury heavy metal detox. I recently had all 3 of my amalgam fillings removed by a biological dentist who took all the necessary precautions during the removal process. Well, that's a good thing you did that. I agree 100% with that. I actually felt the last filling when it was removed. I felt a magnetic difference. I can't tell you. I was just trying to feel if I could feel anything and see if I could notice anything, and I did. It was amazing. I'm very much aware of the health issues caused by the heavy metals, such as mercury, and I'm certain I have minor mercury toxicity based on symptoms. Yeah, I think we all do, you know, because a lot of the vaccines, and I was vaccinated too. I mean, you know, you just march up and you do it. And of course, it just makes you sick when you realize they're putting all these toxic stuff in people. And of course, back in the day, and I hear they still use, but they gave so many babies polio by using live vaccine polio, it's not even funny. Matter of fact, I think if the truth be known, these people would be killed by the populace. I think the World Bank and some other people said if they only knew what we were doing to them, they would hang us. It's true. It's true. Yet in America, we're so apathetic, I'm not sure what we would do. We've got a bad man upstairs and no one's removing him. Bad stuff. No one's removing him. Okay. You guys want to live in a socialist society. You'll see what that is like. You'll be screaming for your freedom real quick. But you know what? Let me see. I've had throughout the years, such as severe acne, inability to focus for long periods, digestive issues, candida, anxiety, etc. Okay, honey. So if we go back there, we know the anxiety is the adrenals. The candida comes from weak adrenals because you lose proper sugar metabolism in a society that likes complex sugars. So you can imagine how much fermentation is essential in the human body to deal with starch, grains. But we can feed them to our babies. See what I'm saying? No, I don't think so. Digestive issues. Now, let's go back to the first thing you said here, severe acne. That's a huge lymphatic problem, as you know. So that's scary because that means that if you've had digestive issues, that lymph system is backed up in your GI tract, probably over to the pancreas and liver too. So, of course, that's going to breed inflammation in these tissues and help shut them down a little bit. So, yeah, I can see where you're going here. So you know immediately you have lymphatic problems. You know immediately you have adrenal and kidney problems. You know that goes with it anyway. The anxiety just is proof to that. So you see where you're going to all these issues. So you have to go back up and really hit that lymphatic system. You know, what is the best way to go about detoxing these metals out of my blood, tissues, and glands? Yeah. You know, that's the beauty of living foods. They're self-cleansers. I love it. They clean the body while they make it healthy. Excuse me, please. Only one can create that. Something that cleans while it detoxes. I mean, it's almost like a sales pitch. My God. It cleans. It enhances. It rebuilds. I mean, look at that. But it is true. It is true. But we're stuck on all the crap stuff like grains and dead animals and their milks and all the processed crap and stuff like that. We're stuck on that. It's like, what? That's why everybody feels good when they go vegan, and then they go all raw. They even feel better than that. And then when they go all fruit, they even feel better than that. But again, there is detoxification. There's aggressive fruit. I admit all of that kind of stuff that we talked about in the past. But this will clean your blood. Go on a detox program, get the herbs, go into your liver. You know, the first kit, at least do the first kit. You got the liver gallbladder formula. That'll clean the pancreas too. You've got your cleansers. Use your lymphatic formulas. Use your kidney formulas. Get your adrenals up. You'll start working on your body systematically. Look at our 14-week protocol, and you'll see how I laid that out. If you can't afford it, then try to look at the best you can take of what it is. If you can't get the herbs somewhere, see what you can get, bulk herbs or anything. Look at the herbs we use. Anything to get some of these herbs in you and cleaning yourself, getting your kidneys to filter, your adrenal glands up. You know, start getting your body back in shape again. You want to get all this stuff cleaned out. And out goes the mercury and lead and all the other stuff too. If you want to really see, pull a hair analysis. I think our cost on them, I think we charge like $80 for a hair analysis, or $85 now. Used to only be like $45. But I was trained by Paul Eck Labs. But detox, you know, your system out. And by doing all that, you're cleaning your blood, you're cleaning your lymph, and that's where everything is. You know, any intracellular metals and stuff that there is, eventually that cell will have to be terminated and will be dealt with, I'm sure, quite readily by your lymph system. But you've got to have a lymph system that works good, which is your main immune system. I've read Andy Coulter's book on mercury detox, and he suggests using a protocol of ALA and DMSA. I don't recommend taking anything like that. Your body will detox all this stuff right out of itself. Matter of fact, if you wanted to kick it up, you could use some greens. High chlorophyll helps. So you could use your greens and detox them out that way. But your astringents are really and they clean you totally. And your body will discharge all this. Anything stored and not used is discharged, no question. He says ALA is the only chelating agent that will cross the blood-brain barrier. You know, I've had medical doctors tell me there's no such thing as blood-brain barriers, my friend. I've heard that over and over because I've asked the same question, and that's not true. You can detox the brain and everything else right out. Absolutely. From the brain, since mercury is a neurotoxin. Well, this is the... however, I'm not sure of this method of chelation. Detox is safe, and me neither. But they're right about one thing. Mercury is a neurotoxin. That makes it even harder. But it's no different. You have to clean these out of the body, and your cells, everything will clean and remove these out of there. I've never seen anyone that couldn't. And years ago, we used to do before and after hair analysis. I don't do it anymore because I know where we're going. So why waste my clients' money when we could spend it on herbs or something? I don't do a lot of things I used to do because what I saw, I'd say, why waste time? So if you want it done, sure. But I would do my hair analysis and see where you are with your mercury, because to me the hair is the best in forensic work in terms of looking at actual stored toxins. Not saliva, not blood. Look at your hair analysis. They've done some neat stuff. There was a case where this lady's husband kept once in a while going to the hospital with extreme sick, gripping pains, near death. They couldn't figure it out. They ran blood tests. They couldn't figure it out at all. Of course, the one problem with ERs is they don't run toxicology tests. It's probably way too expensive and stuff, but still, that would have been nice. But on one occasion, they noticed the man was feeling better. They stabilized him fairly good. And his wife brought him some chicken noodle soup and some cookies or something. And next thing you know, the wife is hollering the husband's having a relapse. The ER doc, a little smart guy, going, something's not right here. So they did a toxicology test, and they found arsenic. And they did it through hair analysis. And they found, through hair analysis, how much arsenic she was giving him, over how many months, actually over 3 years it was, and how much each year, or each month. I just thought that was incredible. That level of forensic medicine was incredible. I thought it was so cool to see that. I've always been a believer in hair analysis. Trust your suggestions more than anyone else. I want to appreciate that. I, myself, I've had the fillings. My whole mouth is loaded with them. I would never do any of this. I always use detox and fruits and berries because they clean everything out. All the metals and everything. You can do a before and after look and see all that. And you can do your greens. That's always great in heavy metal detoxification is greens. Parsley, your seaweeds are excellent. So you could do a drink of parsley and, of course, I don't know if dandelion's available this late, but kelps and stuff like that. Make yourself a real strong green drink, beets, and really clean. That'd be helpful too. You could do that as well. But just clean all these neurotoxins out and stuff, very important. I am currently taking your adrenal tonic and kidney one tonic. And if you really want to pull these out, do the lymphatic ones. Because they're the ones. The lymphatics are the detoxers, big time. So you don't have a lot of questions, sweetheart, so don't be sorry about that. My body before trying to get pregnant. You know what? All I can say is this is Kayla from Houston, smart woman. Smart woman. Somebody grab her and marry her because she's a smart woman. She's cleaning herself up before she has babies. This is a smart woman. You ladies that are thinking like this, you are the future. 5 gold stars to you. Because in a world where they can take your babies, you don't want it. You don't want that. You don't want the heartache of that. If I get this lady ever down here, I'll do a video with her, and you'll cry. You'll cry. And I can't guarantee you I won't either. But I think you need to hear her story. I think it will help you immensely. You mothers out there, what you don't do. It's a tearjerker in every sense of the word. So she comes down once in a while. I'll get her down here. We'll do a video with her, and we'll talk to you about it. I try to get her friend, too. The one with the baby with the MD. Amazing. I just, sometimes when you're working on your clients and you just think they're not going to go and they're just going down and down. And I think, Marco, you've seen this, and of course, Shane, you've definitely seen this. Where it goes right down, almost at death's door, does a 180, turns around and gets well. Amazing how you see that. I mean, that's why I don't ever count anybody out. I don't care how advanced they are. And I'm always going to be by their side. Because if it's time for them to leave, we want to send them a goodbye in the right way. We want the spiritual guides. They'll all be taken nicely, and everything is cool. I love it. Instead of dying in some cold, hostile place where people are laughing down at one end and pain down another and everything else. You don't want any of that. So it's real cool. It's so cool. But sometimes you just never know. Isn't that true, my lady? You like her? From Spain. I found her in Pier 1 Imports. Now, I just think you're a choice piece. Of course, if I start getting weird, hit me upside the head with a 2x4. Hey, Audrey. Thanks for the letter. Hello, Dr. Morris and staff. My name is Audrey, and I am 17. Gee, many Christmas. Thank you for writing me, sweetheart. I have been learning so much from you, Doctor. Oh, thanks, honey, for all that you do. I have found passion in this field and have been changing my lifestyle. Well, you are a sweetheart. At 17 years old, well, you have a whole life. And I love that because I was young when I got into Raw, and I have not lost my passion that much. I've never lost my passion because everything gets better, higher, more aware, more learning. It's like the darkness fades away now. And now you're living and working in the worlds of light and love and beauty. And that's what we all need to do because there's so many people that forgot that they're from these places. All these souls running around, playing their little roles and their little dharmas, forgot who they were. So it's high time we inject a little bit of awareness, don't you think? So, great to have you write me. Great to have that. I love all you young guys. I love that. I have been receiving criticisms with my diet, I bet. It takes a strong individual to outland peer pressure and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, You might have to find funny ways to explain what you're doing. I think I'll be a monkey for about a year. I want to see how strong I can get. You know, you start adapting little cliches, but with a Zen twist to get them to stop and think. I'm going to start eating fruit for about a year because I want to get strong like the monkeys. There isn't anybody that doesn't believe monkeys aren't strong. And if they do, let's just take them to the zoo and put them in a cage for a minute. So, and they're much smaller than we are, and of the same family almost. Scary. It shows you how inferior the human race is, and how inferior we become. When, not to use the word superior or inferior, because that's not what I would ever have an intention to be, but we should be superior to where we are now by far. Not in the cards yet, but with you guys all helping, it will be. I live in Guam, born and raised where fiestas are a huge part of our culture. Fiestas, yeah. Parties. Barbecued meat is a huge staple. I know, and of all the meat, it has to be barbecue. Because that's the hardest to give up there is the barbecue. So it has been hard to get comments that, ironically, family members tell me I'm not eating right when it's actually the flipper way. It is, honey. And that means at 17 years old, you're having to be stronger in your sense of knowingness and awareness than the parents that's supposed to know more than you and raise you. Scary. Scary what's happened out there. It's the parents should be helping the kids get raw instead of the kids trying to help the parents get healthy. It's funny. You're hardly a kid, though. 17 years old, you're a young woman. In sum, that was just a background on me and where I am from. My two questions I would love to get feedback are, one, is there anything I can do about my asthma? Absolutely. All right, so know that asthma is part of the COPD chain. Remember, we talked about this before, the difference between COPD, asthma, emphysema up, as opposed to simple pneumonia. They both have congestion and mucus involved interstitially. But what's the other component? Hard to get breath out, remember? Hard to take a deep breath. Those are both neurological events. So you have a parasympathetic and a sympathetic. And you can see which one's down. So your sympathetic, you've got to get to your adrenal glands. You've got to hit those adrenal glands. And that will help to build up the sympathetic, parasympathetic, particularly the sympathetic. And that'll help you get the outflow. And it's just building up that. So I would do brain and nerve number 2. I'm going to do a 400 milligram adrenal because I'm telling you, you have low blood pressure. If you don't, then you will when you clean out your kidneys because you would be a case with low blood pressure there. So you want to hit your adrenals, you want to get your kidneys filtering, start cleaning that lymph system so you can clean any congestion you might have interstitially out of the lungs. But you have to enhance neurologically because this is going to translate as you get older into chronic fatigue or, tiredness and fatigue and stuff like that. And all the other things that the adrenals do, which is considerable. Since I was little, my mom took me to my pediatrician, and my childhood memories consist of constant antibiotics and steroids. Isn't that not sad? So that's what I'm saying, honey. You really want to hit those adrenals because they've wrecked them for you. They just, they don't know how to rebuild things. They just know how to treat, and not with some good stuff because when you take steroids, they know damn well you're going to lose your adrenals. And that's the problem in the first place. You see what I'm saying, guys? So, be wise. Be wise like this 17-year-old. She's wising up early. Smart young lady. And, I don't know if you've been on inhalers, but nebulizers better in terms of helping get mucus out. But inhalers are antispasmodics with a twist. They're suppressants. So we have an antispasmodic herbal formula. I would get that and use that as my inhaler. I would. because we do it all the time with people with asthma, emphysema, and COPD, and it relaxes neurologically. And it enhances. I'm relaxing you neurologically, but I'm enhancing you neurologically. And we're enhancing the adrenals in every other way. We're enhancing elimination. We're getting rid of acidosis, things like that. So by turning to a more electrical diet, you're electrifying your electrical system more, and therefore you're feeling more electrical. Your breathing goes up, everything goes up. To feel worse, just go on high fats and high proteins and the things they want our babies to have. I don't forget much. I feel traumatized as I am now older and have educated myself. Isn't that funny? And it's just what you have. That's why I'm so adamant that it's time that the AMA make drastic changes. They eliminate general practitioners and go to surgeries and ER work. Or if they're going to stay general practitioners, they become naturopaths. And they take coursework in it, and they understand what proper diets are all about, and what proper chemistry is all about, and what proper physics is all about. Because if you don't know those things, and you sit there and give people opinion about food eating based upon American Dietetics Association in a few-hour coursework, I don't think you classify yourself as a specialist or anyone with knowledge enough to give an opinion. And that's the problem. And narcissistic individuals are willing to give you their opinion even if they don't know. Not me. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know. Because I don't want any blowbacks. I don't care. I don't know, you don't know. You can't know everything. There's too much to know. It took me a lot of years just to get to this level of simplicity. Isn't that ridiculous? And I keep trying to be simpler and simpler each year. I always try to figure, how can I explain myself to the world more simplistically? So it's an aha moment for the human race. And that's what I'm here to try to do. I get help from friends, but still, it's tough, you know. It's tough, you know. So I am wondering if, in fact, that I was not worked, it has not worked, is because I would be more sensitive. Well, oh, you mean, let me see here. I want to go back. I feel traumatized, okay? I hate taking pills, but Mom still insists that I need them to breathe. Right now, I have been having difficulty breathing and caved into taking steroids. It's not steroids you want to take. Those are anti-inflammatories. It shows you that they think inflammation is part of this problem. Well, that would be acidosis, of course, and that would be steroids from the adrenal glands. But that would be that you're not removing this acidosis from interstitial spaces of the lungs. But there's another component they don't get, and that's neurological. And that you're suppressing with steroids. So you take an antispasmodic herbal form. Let your mom view this. You take an antispasmodic, because we've done thousands of cases. You take your antispasmodic for breathing. You always have an inhaler there. You always have something to go for. But you take antispasmodics. Antispasmodic, and you put it right under your tongue if you need it. You can take it right along with regular dosages, and it keeps you relaxed. At the same time, I'm building your nervous system through brain and nerve, number 2, but I'm also building your nervous system by increasing neurotransmitters out of what? Your adrenal glands that they're wrecking taking steroids, because they're going to wreck your adrenals taking steroids. And you're going to be in holy hell worse. All your estrogen, progesterone, systemically speaking, all of that, all your mineral utilization, all your sugar metabolisms, your neurotransmitters, they're wrecking the very gland that you're having trouble with. That's typical medical thinking, because they're treatment-based thinkers. They're not causative-based thinkers, or they would have the knowledge we have. We have to know the cause of everything. You don't know the cause of everything, steeped in chemistry and physics. You're out in the wilderness putting autoimmune problems on things, and it's all in your head, and it's a gene missing. I'm sure there's a long list of those. So you use the antispasmodic to breathe. It relaxes you. You enhance your adrenals to enhance neurotransmitters, to enhance the myelin sheath, to enhance your breathing the right way. And at the same time, if you're congestive in nature, with you to have acne like you did, you know lymphatically you're backed up big time. You want to open that door. You want to check your urine in a glass jar, make sure you're filtering. If not, hit those kidneys, maybe. But get on some herbs to help you start getting that lymph system moving. Because the only reason they're giving you steroids is your lymph system. Acidosis. Because steroid use is not neurotransmitters. They're not looking at the neurological side of this, and yet they're recommending inhalers, which are antispasmodics, which is neurologic speaking. So protect yourself, because you want to win out of this. And you can't win taking steroids. Can never win. So you want to get out of this. And Mom, she's in good hands to get out of this. And you can even help her by learning more about what problems she really has. And by the way, somebody gave her these genes. Somebody gave her the weak adrenals and kidneys. So it's either you, Mom, I can tell you, you gave her her lymph system. She's in you 9 months, you gave her her lymph system. So, sweetheart, take a picture of your eyes. Have your mom take a picture of your eyes. Jim B will tell you, or it's on a YouTube. And take a look at yourself. See where you look, see what you look, see how many nerve rings you have, things like that. And that'll tell you, look at your adrenals, look at your kidneys, and look at yourself inside and see what you look like. And that'll help you to determine what you have to do. But your mom needs to come up in her awareness, because you're 17, but she's doing things, she's allowing them to do things to you that can be devastating to you. Big time. So you want to get and fix this, because you can fix asthma easy. So you just have to work out of it. Some genetics involved here, adrenals and neurotransmitters. I mean, your myelin sheaths, but you can work those up. You can rebuild those. Why do some people who have cancer die even after they have went vegan? Too advanced, honey. There is a point of no return. I call it PNR. But sweetheart, there is a point where we just can't save you. The soul is preparing. You're so eat up with acids. Your systems are shutting down. Your kidneys, you notice what shuts down? Your kidneys. Funny, huh? So we're getting people that are so dehydrated that they're nothing but bones, skin and bones. Or they have tumors that look like that. When you have tumors that look like that, you're in trouble. And it breaks my heart to see that. That's why I'm so adamant how important you guys are to the future of this planet. There's too many of these people. That's because they had no clue when it was a small little bump they could get rid of that right away. No. They went allopathically. You just can't do certain things. Not anymore. Not at the level humans are at in their degenerative and chronic levels. You can't. You can't treat them the same way with pharmaceuticals. Excuse me very much. I'm detoxing myself, obviously. But you can't apply the past in acute and subacute stages and how pharmaceuticals blew through those doors. Anything can blow through those doors. And now apply that to chronic and degenerative issues. They're so far out of their league, they don't even know what they're talking about. So you have to be real careful that you're not a victim. And Mom, that you don't make your daughter a victim. You have to be careful what you push on your kids by thinking it's better for them, because you're locked in allopathic thinking. And that they're the only ones that know anything when they're the only ones that don't know anything. It's opposite of what you think. Or she wouldn't have asthma right now. She'd been with us years ago, she wouldn't have asthma to this day at all, period. Didn't take that long to get rid of it. Not asthma, the disease, but why she's having difficulty in breathing and exhaling and deep breaths. My friend tried to shoot down my view on natural healing by telling me that his close family friend had colon cancer, went vegan, and is sicker than ever currently. You can't let him do that. Vegan, you have to be a raw foodist, and not only do you want to be a raw foodist with colon cancer, you want to be up in the fruit levels, and you want to use herbs and everything else. You can't just change your life to a vegan life, because that's not going to cure cancer whatsoever. And we'll use the word cure cancer in the context not of diseases, but in context of what's going on with this man. Plus, you can't just change your diet. You have to understand the lymph system. You have to understand acidosis, the kidneys, and understand how you can fix that and how you can get out of colon cancer. People don't understand all that. They don't understand why eating a few fruit makes all the difference in the world, because they don't understand chemistry or physics. And unless you understand energy and chemistry and how that works and your systems, you wouldn't understand any of this, because it's just simply a disease. You talk about simplicity. Ours is simplicity, but with a twist. It's based in chemistry and physics, what we know without theories. Theories, I don't even want to know about theories. Remember, we talked about that plenty of times. And also, another one claims that 2 friends had cancer and one survived by taking chemo and the other went natural and passed away. All I can tell you is chemotherapy does not cure anybody. Chemotherapy, for anybody to think 1 fraction of a millisecond that chemo has some curative value is extremely delusional. Those people that only survive chemo are the strong constitution people, and there are a few that have survived it, no question. But it's rated at 6%. Now, it's possible to have one of those 6%ers and have someone that was so far gone with the natural way. The natural way, there's a lot of levels to the natural way. And that's what they don't realize. They try to apply allopathic thinking to the natural health field. The natural health field is considerably different in every level. And the problem with the natural health field, it's leveled. There is kindergarten, there's elementary, there's high school, and then there's college. And you guys are in the college side because that's the side that you can cure and that you understand how to get people well. I don't know what the universities and colleges are teaching allopathic physicians, but it certainly is bizarre. And a lot of people buy into that, and yet there's no curative value there. So all I can tell you is don't buy into that kind of crap. Listen to them, just discard it and go on, because you have to have all the facts. Someone could just come with you with a statement like that. There's no facts in that. You don't know any facts to that. And you don't know the people. We, on the other hand, as a clinic, has been involved, what, 6 years, it'll be 50 years for me. So what's that? 44 years. And I can tell you, we've got so many people healthy that had every cancer diagnosed with them, everything diagnosed with them that you can think about. We have 100%, but we're in the 90s. Now, that we don't treat cancer, of course, that's why we're successful at getting people well. You treat cancer, you don't get anybody well. So don't buy into that kind of crap, only 6%. Next time you see the Cancer Treatment Centers of America and you see their little graph down there on the bottom, stop your DVR and take a look at it. They'll tell you right off. In 5 years, what's the percentage of success they have in keeping people alive? Read it for yourself. It's right on TV. They make no bones about it. The first year looks really good. Get to the 6th year and see what you see. All right? I remember hearing Matt Monarch mention something about why this might happen, but I would like to understand this clearly. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you for doing Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, happy to you too there, Audrey. And Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and all the good stuff that's coming. Fun time, maybe. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to get all the facts to all those cases. Because the natural way, what does that mean? You went to the Gerson Clinic? They're not good. You went to Hippocrates? They're not good. Not with cancers. We'll say with that people without diagnosis. Because they don't understand it either. If you do not understand your lymphatic system, which these are all lymphomas, if you don't understand your lymphatic system, as we put it out to you, you don't understand the acid side versus the base side of chemistry and what acids can do to you, then you're kind of left out in the dark with that. And once you understand how the body works, you start having an aha moment. And you start realizing how ridiculous this is. That you have a world where tens of thousands of people have cured themselves of everything, including any cancer you can name, with that realizing that they didn't treat cancer, because you don't win doing that. You treat any condition and you can't get well. You can't treat anything. You have to understand what you're eating and how important that is to you. And that is chemistry. You're taught some brainwashing crap that eating dead animal meat, a Homo sapien, understanding a Homo sapien is a frugivore, that eating dead animals and their dead, highly pasteurized milk, that destroying your food by ultra cooking and by processing all this food, by killing all the bacteria, we're going to be healthier. That means they're smoking some bad crap in the back room and delusional. So they hire all these goons and go close down these natural people because they're high on something called bad stuff. Don't fall into that, guys. Don't fall into that. And I am proud of you at 17 years old, standing your own and understanding this. You have a world around you that's not going to understand you, honey. And you just keep working your way, working yourself back into a state of health. If you want help with that asthma, call Gen B. And we'll help you with that. Not difficult to get rid of. But you'll never get rid of it, and you will get worse if you continue to use steroids and things. Mom, you don't give steroids to anybody, including yourself. Using steroids shuts down your adrenal glands. You shut down your adrenal glands, and you're in big-time trouble. All the cancer people, shut down adrenal glands. Why? Take a look at dietary habits. High-protein diets, high-lipid diets, dead foods, grains, beans. Nothing's healthy there. There's nothing living, and no creature on this planet gets well eating cooked food. You feed cooked food to baby cats, what happens to them? Well documented. They die. Matter of fact, what happens when you give baby calves pasteurized milk? Not only do they get major diarrhea and sick, but some have died from it. Oh, wait a minute, though. It's okay for human babies. Oh, yeah, it's okay. Can't give it to the same animal, but you can give it to human babies. It's okay. You see the fallacy we buy into? Because we're unaware. Where our minds are totally conditioned. That's why I say, get out of your mind. That sounds crazy? Stop thinking so much. You're bigger than that. You're better than that. And the mind is full of all this idiocy. Become awake and aware. And you'll see and know more things than you could possibly imagine. The mind limits you. It doesn't make you bigger. It limits you. You're already bigger. Remember, you're a spiritual being having a physical, emotional, and mental experience. So free yourself from that and have a lovely day. I love you all, and thank you so much for your questions. I think I'm going to cut it off here. I'm about out of voice power, and it's almost 5 o'clock. So I'll pick up tomorrow. I'll keep on going, guys. So, love you, and happy holidays for those if I don't. But I'll be doing a lot more videos before Christmas. So, love you all. May the blessings be. Namaste, guys.